Welcome to another edition of Green is Good, and we're so excited to have on the line with us Emile Lauzzana. He's the energy manager of the Detroit Public School System. Welcome to Green is Good.
Great to be here, John.
Emile, this is going to be a great story. We haven't covered public school systems before and energy, but before we get into that, can you share a little bit about your bio and how you got to this position and how long you've been there?
Well, I'm a licensed architect and did that for quite a while. And when we had the recent recession, that kind of dried up in a lot of different ways. And I was fortunate to then run a nonprofit that was funded by the state to work with schools across the state of Michigan doing energy efficiency and renewable energy. That funding wound down, and through that I had met people at Detroit Public Schools and was able to come over here and start up the Office of Energy and Sustainability.
Got it. And for our listeners out there that want to follow along and see a lot of the great work you're doing, I'm on your website right now. It's www.detroitk12.org. Detroit K, as in the letter K, the number 12.org/go green. Emile, let's start right from the top here. Tell us a little bit about, as an energy manager of a public school system, how does that really work? Like, what is your daily mission and what are you doing every day?
Well, I've got two primary responsibilities. Okay. I think of it as energy management and utility management. Energy management is how do we reduce our usage in our buildings through behavior, through building improvements. Utility management is how do we work with our vendors with our $18 million utility budget to reduce costs. So auditing bills, negotiating better rates, things like that, and finding cost savings along the way.
Got it. And how many students are in the Detroit Public School System?
Well, we've got 50,000 students this year in 100 different schools, and we've got another dozen or so support facilities. So in all, the portfolio of buildings that we're managing is about 120.
Wow. And then your budget is, how big is the budget?
Well, utilities is $18 million. If we have a nice warm winter, it can creep up a little bit. If we have a cold winter and a hot summer. So that's covering electricity, natural gas. We have some district steam, water, and sewage service.
Got it. And I'm on your website, the one I just mentioned a little earlier, DetroitK12.org/Go Green, and I'm looking here at your Go Green Challenge. Can you explain a little bit what that means? Give us just a little overview.
Sure. That's an energy-saving behavioral program that we developed last year. We'll be doing it again this year in a revamped and improved format. And basically, it's a contest at our schools to reduce energy, and we provide projects to them. Incandescent light bulb hunt was the first one that we did. Find all the old incandescent light bulbs that are in the utility closets and around your building, identify those, and we'll send you new compact fluorescents. A series of projects like that aimed at raising energy awareness and driving cost savings. And everything that we do in this area, we look at three different criteria. Are we helping to improve student achievement? That's our primary mission in the school district. We are also looking at how do we create more financial stability in the district by normalizing and reducing costs, and then are we having a positive impact on the community? Are students and teachers learning things in school and able to translate that information and those lessons home to reduce their costs at home?
It's so interesting, though. You're an architect. When you were going to architecture school and started your practice when you came out, did you ever think that it would migrate into sustainability and energy management?
Well, the energy side was always there, and sustainability, in fact, was always there. That was sort of my driving efforts in architecture. That was sort of what got me really excited about that. Energy has, we kind of have these cycles of energy crises historically. I remember when I was younger, we had gas lines in the 70s, and there was a big focus on energy efficiency back then in the Carter administration, early Reagan administration. We're kind of back there again, and energy has become a very significant issue. Costs continue to go up and outstrip inflation, so we've got a lot of work to do on the energy side, and hopefully we can learn some lessons, and we can teach the kids and the students and our future leaders enough about energy this time so we can kind of cut this cycle off and stabilize our relationship with the resources.
I want to talk more about the students and the teachers in a second, but what I love about you, Emile, and you're a humble guy, is that when I was reading your bio and learning more about you before we did this show, I learned that you're a LEED accredited green building professional, so I want you to explain what that means. But more important than that, you not only talk the talk, but you really walk the walk in terms of that you, I know, and your wife and you guys made improvements to your house where you became like part of this National Solar Homes Tour thing, and that your backyard was certified by the National Wildlife Federation. Can you explain about what you do personally, which then gives you more credibility professionally?
Well, everybody does what they can and
Sure.
tries to improve their lives, and we've been fortunate to have a nice house in Ann Arbor that wasn't that great when we got it, and we're fixing it up. And being a green architect and energy guy, we along the way keep making improvements. There was a solar thermal system on the house when we got it, which was no longer functioning. We got that up and running, and built a straw bale shed with a green roof. Made a lot of other improvements to the house and the lighting and the hot water system, and that was enough. Especially at the time, a lot of people have solar now. This was back in the early 2000s. We were some of the only people with solar technology in our area, so it was a perfect way to showcase that on the National Solar Tour, which happens once a year and provides it's sort of like a builder showcase. There are different sites around your area, and you can go and see what people have done to their houses. So we were participating in that, I think, for about 6-7 years. It was a great way to just show people simple things that they can do that can improve their homes, make them more efficient and energy-wise.
Got it. And so going back to the what you're doing with the Go Green Challenge, and again for our listeners who just turned in, we've got Emile Lauzzana on with us. He's the energy manager of the Detroit Public School System, and you could check out all the great work they're doing over there at DetroitK12.org/Go Green. Emile, now, someone like you with your credibility, green architect, really into this, doing it even in your personal life, and you have this great Go Green Challenge. How do you get the students and the teachers? You're the champion, but how do you get them to get as excited about saving energy and becoming part of this Go Green Challenge and actually executing and get them on board? How hard is that?
John, it's surprisingly easy. What we're providing is a platform, is a structure for participation in sustainability, and once that's there, this is something people have wanted for a long time in the district,
right?
And we're providing that basic infrastructure at a district level for participation, sharing of best practices, and people are just really excited about it, and they're enthusiastic, signing up green teams at their schools, doing these projects, doing things we didn't even suggest that they do. That's one of the changes we want to make next year in the structure of the challenge, is opening it up to not only the projects that we devise, but also making space for innovation projects. So schools and green teams at schools can suggest their own project and be recognized through the Go Green Challenge for that work. Do
schools compete against each other? Do classes compete? Does it become as fun as that? How does that really work?
Absolutely, yes. Last year we measured their energy over a set period of time, about 6 months, and we had data from the year before and the year before that. We challenged them to improve by reducing their energy by 10% in that contest window. That's a big goal, 10%, one fell swoop. But right. Overall, through that time period, they saved a little over $300,000 in energy costs.
Wow! And let's talk about that. What has been like? Share some specific results, because a lot of times, Emile, people think that going green, whether they're running a public company, a private company, an organization like yours for the public good as a public servant, they think that going green costs money for some reason or is more expensive than just the status quo. Can you explain some of the wins that you've had or cost savings that you've created with your programs?
Yeah, overall, through the first year of the Office of Energy and Sustainability, we've had a little over $1.2 million in cost savings and avoidance.
Oh,
A lot of that is just on the utility management side, getting those accounts in order, optimizing our rate structures, negotiations, and then there's the savings from the students, some nonprofit partnerships that have come in, altogether $1.2 million in savings. And, a lot of people are hearing now about the financial crisis with the city of Detroit.
yeah.
The school district is a separate entity, but we have been under financial emergency management for a number of years now. And on the one hand, yes, a lot of people will say, this is going to cost us more, we're in a financial crisis, we're losing students, we can't afford to do this.
Right.
And what the senior leaders at the district have recognized is we can't afford not to do this. This is an integral part of fixing our finances and moving the district forward into a more stable and sustainable future. So it's not a question of this is going to cost more. It's a question of we have to do this as part of our fiscal responsibilities.
That makes sense. You mentioned a little earlier, though, that it's not just the school, the Detroit Public Schools that are doing this alone, that you've had some help or you've had some partners come in. Can you explain who some of those partners are and how that makes your program even richer and better and more successful?
Yeah, we've had some corporate support from Office Depot has supported us, Team Detroit, a local marketing firm, Hatteras, our printing partner, and also the Bosch Company Community Fund. And we also have key nonprofit partners. We are expanding what we're doing next year to look not only at energy and water conservation, but also resource use and recycling. And we have a very robust garden and farm-to-cafeteria program. So we've brought in key nonprofit partners in each of those areas. Green Living Science is helping us with the recycling side. The Warm Training Center is a key partner with their AmeriCorps members that they have every year. We've got 18 AmeriCorps members supporting this program through the Warm Training Center, supporting the energy and water side. And then we've recently partnered with the Greening of Detroit to assist with the garden program. So we've got these key partners in different sustainability areas and corporate support backing this whole thing up.
And since there's a lot of smart people, different organizations, sometimes people have somewhat, agendas that they want to come help you, but they also have other agendas. How do you get them all to work together so they're all pulling on the rope to help your mission move in the right direction, same direction?
Yeah, well, I think at a core level, all of these partners and the school district have the same mission, and that's to revitalize the city of Detroit. Individually, they have their own agendas, you're right, but we have an advisory council that we formed that meets monthly to go over, what we've been doing and help us to strategize and plan and move forward. That way, everybody knows what the plan is, everybody's contributed to that development of that plan, and we're all on the same page with our programs. Besides
energy, just, strictly energy, talk a little bit about sustainability, the bigger umbrella, the larger tent. What are you doing with regards to sustainability management with the Detroit Public School System?
Well, it's a big organization. We've got, again, 50,000 students, 100 plus sites, but we've identified that we need to develop a sustainability management plan in the district. This is a multi-year initiative, and we, in our first year, have identified some key areas, 6 areas: energy and water, recycling and waste management, student nutrition, our indoor environment, the outdoor environment, and our transportation system.
Wow.
We've identified those as areas that we want to develop policy and start implementing best practices. And to date, what we've done is met with key representatives from different departments and talked about what could we do. And since I'm over energy, we've kind of started there and developed some policies for how we manage and improve our indoor and outdoor lighting.
I gotcha. But still, starting this year or next year, you're going to touch on then energy and water recycling and waste and all those other subsectors that you mentioned.
Well, it's kind of building the bicycle and riding at the same time, if you will. It's very, again, it's a big organization. People need to understand the rationale and to be a part of making positive change. So we're doing the education, meeting with people, and getting their ideas and their input to even improve these plans. And as we're doing this, some things just rise to the top, and there's an opportunity to immediately implement a best practice, such as recycling. We last year piloted recycling with 22 schools, and we're working to expand that next year. That's 11,000 students.
Wow!
Started recycling last year. So as we're having these conversations, those things do sometimes rise to the top, and you just say, "Oh, that's a no-brainer. Let's just do it."
Got it. And I don't want to pass over the issue that we mentioned earlier about your LEED certification background. That you're a LEED accredited green building professional. Are you going back and getting any of the schools that you inherited, the older schools, LEED certified, and are you building any new schools LEED certified? And is that part of your mission and your daily thought process?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. The district recently constructed 7 new schools and renovated 15 others, and all of those schools, the 7 new ones, are built to LEED standards and are receiving certification. I believe 3 of them are already LEED certified, and the other 4 are in the process of receiving that certification. That was a little bit before I joined the group. That's been wrapping up over the last year or so. But those schools were built to those standards because of the improved indoor air quality, the energy cost reduction, and all of the other things that come with U.S. Green Building Council LEED certified buildings.
Gotcha. We're down to the last 2 minutes or so. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share on the issue of sustainability and environment and how to really work in the public and private sector and push these kind of missions, important missions, forward?
Well, thanks so much, John, for having me on. It's a great opportunity for us to share our story.
Yeah.
One thing, now people are looking at Detroit from a distance, and they see financial crisis, they see disinvestment, they see population loss, and folks in our space talking about sustainability, global climate change, things like that. We've identified that adaptation and resilience are key attributes for future success. We can't expect to continue to live our lives the way that we have. We need to adapt. We need to be resilient. And in a city like Detroit, we have a unique ability over the last couple of decades to adapt to an ever-changing future. And that's an asset that we have that I think is undervalued. And I'm extremely excited to be able to work with people who have that kind of energy, who, change is unfortunate, but it does make you stronger and it teaches you skills I think that we have in abundance, and I'm really excited about being able to tap into those resilient, adaptive, survivor attributes of the people of Detroit.
That is so nice. And with the last 30 seconds or so, for people who want to follow your footsteps, architects and other young people that want to be energy managers or sustainability leaders, any final thoughts for the young people that listen to our show around the United States and the world?
Well, we've got an uncertain future. We don't exactly know how all of this sustainability, energy crisis, and a whole lot of other things, water, resource scarcity. I guess the thing that I try to impart in young people and my own children and students here in the district is don't expect to go to school, go to college, get out of college, get some job, and stay there for 30 years. That's just not a reasonable expectation these days. Sure, some people do it, but generally you need to adapt, you need to be creative, and I was an architect, I'm an energy manager. Before that I was a construction contractor. You need to be ready to adapt and have a skill set that isn't fixed but is broad. and be able to solve problems, work in teams, collaborate. That's how you succeed in our uncertain future.
Thank you so much, Emile. Thank you for your time this morning. For our listeners out there that want to continue to learn more about Emile's great work in the Detroit public school system, it's www.detroitk12.org/go green. Emile Lauzzana, you are an inspiring education sustainability leader and truly living proof that green is good.